Hello, this is Callie Raspuzzi, the Collections Manager here at the Bennington Museum, welcoming you back to another Tour at 10. And today we are going to be talking about a same-sex couple in early Vermont. This is Charity Bryant and Sylvia Drake, and they lived up in Weybridge, Vermont. Charity was born in Massachusetts. She had an unhappy childhood. Her mother died when she was young. She did not get along well with her stepmother, and as a young woman, she had very few options at this time. This is a point in history in the late 1700s when women really generally went from their father's house to their husband's house, and there were very few ways for young women to support themselves. She tried teaching school for a while, didn't go very well. She did not like it, and she had some very deep personal relationships with other young women and seemed to cause a lot of gossip wherever she went. She did not feel welcome. In 1807, she came to Weybridge, Vermont to visit a friend of hers and fell in love with her friend's sister, Sylvia Drake. And Sylvia was a little bit younger than her, and the two of them had they hit it off right away. In the meantime, Charity had learned the tailoring trade. Now, tailoring is a very specific profession. It involves making men's outer garments, jackets, vests, pants, and requires a very high level of skill. So the fact that she was trained as a tailor at this point made her a very valuable member to the community, especially up in Weybridge, where there was nobody else with this particular skill set. And so she was able to support herself here. She rented rooms, she found a place for herself to live, and she invited Sylvia to come and live with her. Sylvia did not have any particular profession, but she had needlework skills as any young woman at this time would have. And the two of them were able to live and support themselves together, which is quite remarkable at this point in history. But what's more remarkable is that they left a lot of records of their lives and their relationship. They were both highly literate. So we have diaries, we have letters, we have things like this wonderful little love token here. This is a pair of silhouettes of Charity and Sylvia, and what's particularly wonderful about it is that it has this braided hair. Presumably this is the two women's hair that was added to further personalize this piece. And this is on loan to us from the Sheldon Museum of Vermont History up in Middlebury, Vermont. And it's on paper. The paper has been cut out by an artist, and it's on a piece of black cloth. It's very delicate, of course, and very susceptible to light damage. So that is why we had the larger reproduction made for this exhibit. But the Sheldon Museum has graciously allowed us to have this here for a few weeks this summer. It is on view here in Bennington through September 13th. Hopefully you can come and see it in person. It really is wonderful. The reproduction is great, but seeing the original is just, it brings things to a whole nother level. So Charity and Sylvia lived together for the rest of their lives up in Weybridge. They lived as a married couple would. They were accepted by the community, which surely recognized the fact that they functioned as a married couple, but simply didn't seem to bother anyone at the time, which is interesting because we think of this as being such a controversial subject. But at one point, Charity's nephew, the poet William Cullen Bryant, came to visit his aunts, and he actually published an account of their relationship together. And he wrote that in their youthful days, they took each other as companions for life, and this union, no less sacred to them than the bounds of marriage, has subsisted in uninterrupted harmony for more than 40 years, during which they have shared each other's occupations and pleasures and works of charity while in health, and watched over each other in sickness. They slept on the same pillow, had a common purse, and adopted each other's relations. And if this doesn't describe a happy marriage, I don't know what does. So hopefully you can come and see this piece and come and see it soon while we have the original here. And really it is a remarkable story about same-sex marriage in Vermont 200 years before it was actually legally recognized as such.